Good morning, dear students. Now I am ready to go with you for the discussion of an important chapter of biology, the part Zoology. Today's chapter will be our most important process, biological process, reproduction. You see, this chapter in our contents is the first chapter, or you can say first unit, not chapter. Actually, it is the first unit, unit 1. This unit comprises of 4 chapters. The first one is the reproduction in organisms. Second, sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Third, human reproduction, and fourth, reproductive health. Zoology course will include both the reproduction in organism in a nutshell, general discussion, and it will include sexual, asexual reproduction, vegetable reproduction, micropropagation, that is reproduction in animals, etc., etc. And in our discussion in this chapter, we must give importance to the very definition of the process of reproduction, the types of reproduction, characteristics, importance, etc. Now, I am going to discuss today with some restricted topics. The time is limited and I must go stepwise. That is why in our first unit and the first chapter, when we shall say something about the process of reproduction, you must see what is its meaning. Reproduction, is a physiological process. 2 part re and production. Re means again, and production means something to be produced. That is why you can easily define it, production of something else again and again. But a point you must note, many things may be produced again and again, but cannot be said to as reproduction. There is a very important characteristics, that is production of something else again and again, of its self kind, own kind and form. আমি যেটো অসমীয়াত কওঁ, প্ৰজনন মানেই কোনো নতুন এটা বস্তু বাৰে বাৰে উৎপত্তি হোৱা বা বাৰে বাৰে উৎপাদন হোৱা, কিন্তু তাৰ লগত এটা বস্তু জড়িত হৈ আছে, সেইটো হ'ল একে আকাৰ আকৃতিৰ হ'ব লাগিব, তেতিয়াহে তাক প্ৰজনন বুলি কোৱা হ'ব। কোনো এটা বস্তু উৎপাদন হ'লে বা একে আকাৰ দেখাত একে আকাৰ আকৃতিৰ হ'লে বাৰে বাৰে উৎপাদন হ'লেও আমি সেইটো প্ৰজনন ক'ব নোৱাৰোঁ। যদিহে আমি এটা পাৰ্টিকুলাৰ স্পেচিফিক বা স্পেচিছৰ লগত এই বস্তুটো জড়িত নহয়, প্ৰজাতিৰ লগত জড়িত নহয়। So reproduction, the term is very critical. Production of something else again and again of its own kind and form. That is called, one word you will find here, life begets life. One meta it is, you see, all organisms develop from pre-existing organisms. This point is very important, and one particular word, self-perpetuation. Somewhere else you will get in your book, that is called self-perpetuation, means that only then we shall say the process as reproduction, when a particular organism will be able to produce of its own specific kind. The word specific you must clearly understand. So let us today in brief discuss what actually we shall get in this unit. In this unit we shall get about the whole process of reproduction. As earlier I have told you, its types, different types, its characteristics, sexual and asexual reproduction is their differences, growth and development of plants and animals along it. So, reproduction in organisms, this chapter can be discussed in these following heads like vegetative reproduction, micropropagation, asexual reproduction, reproduction in animals, embryogenesis in animals. So of these two, vegetative reproduction and micropropagation, both actually are nothing different from that of the asexual reproduction. Basically, there will be, we shall get two types of reproduction, sexual and asexual reproduction, and vegetative and micropropagation also will be included in a specific type of asexual reproduction. And sexual reproduction only we shall get in some lower organisms also sometimes, and mainly in the higher organisms where distinct male and females are there. So you will get some exceptional examples like in bacteria, though distinct male and females are not present, but sexual reproduction may occur. Many such some organisms are there where distinct male and females are not found, but sexual reproduction may occur at certain stages, especially in certain conditions. And from all this point, biological science is known as the science of exception, you know. So many exceptional examples are always found along with some usual events. Let us go on. And I have used highlighter here to clearly mention about some specific points which are very important. And it is already I have told you not easy to cover all these things as given in the book. And so you see sexual reproduction and asexual comparison between them. You can note these points of the sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction and how can be differentiated. Sexual reproduction includes formation and fusion of gametes, and in case of asexual reproduction there is no formation and fusion of gametes. What are gametes? The reproductive units, male and female maybe. These will be developed, these will be formed within different reproductive systems, male and female reproductive systems. Accordingly to different type of, to distinct sexes will be found. And we shall have to discuss about the male reproductive organ system, female reproductive organ system separately later on. So let us go. Generally in case of sexual reproduction, what is found? It is biparentals, means distinct male and distinct females are there, and always uniparental in asexual reproduction. One individual is single. You cannot say it is male, you cannot say it is female. Very good. Reproductive units are germ cells of either of parents. And you see these germ cells. What are germ cells? There are some primary sex organs, in male testis, in female ovary, if it is animal. And accordingly, ovary is found of course in case of plants also, but testis is not found. Pollen grains you will get anther. Instead of testis, in plant you will get anther, and your botany madam will discuss well very nicely in your botany part. So the ovary is there of course in case of female, a part where the female gametes are produced, and within the testis in animals, especially in animal cases, the male gametes are produced. And in this chapter today we shall have to discuss about the formation, constitution of these male and female reproductive organ systems. Well, of course today in this video I shall discuss about only the male reproductive organ system in human, especially in human. Okay, then you see this point is very important. Meiosis occurs during gametic formation in case of sexual reproduction, and in case of asexual reproduction only mitosis occurs. Let me tell you something about this process, mitosis and meiosis. From our early knowledge, we know the living organisms basically constitute of cells. Where there is no cell, we cannot say it is as a living organism. From that point of view, we cannot say viruses as the living organism, because viruses do not have a specific cell. They may have cellular materials like nucleic acids, like proteins, etc., but they do not possess a cell. That is why we can't say that viruses are living objects. Still, at this moment, in today's case, you see the corona is such a virus which can destroy the whole human population, which can destroy the nation as a whole. So, leave it. This discussion will lead us to another thing. পৃথিৱীখন ধ্বংস কৰিবলৈ ওলাইছে এটা সামান্য ভাইৰাছে, কৰোনাই। আৰু এই সামান্য ভাইৰাছটোৰ ভিতৰতে এনেধৰণৰ কি পদাৰ্থ সোমাই আছে যিয়ে আমাৰ শৰীৰ, আমাৰ দৰে একোটা মানৱ শৰীৰকো ধ্বংসৰ মুখলৈ ঠেলি দিব পাৰে। এইটো এটা অন্য বিষয়। কিন্তু ভাইৰাছৰো ৰিপ্ৰডাকশ্যন আছে। ভাইৰাছো লিভিং নেচাৰ শ্ব' কৰে। আৰু কেতিয়া কৰে? যেতিয়া সিহঁতে লিভিঙৰ কণ্টেক্টত আহে, when they come in contact with living object. Only this process reproduction, viruses can be regarded as the living object for two things. They have growth when they come in contact with any living object, and they can reproduce. They can multiply their number of their own kind and form. For these two reasons, we can say the viruses are living objects. So, besides virus, we come to other living organisms where the cell structures are found, and these cells which constitute our body. First, you see, in case of unicellular organism, there is no question of multiplication of cell numbers in body, because there are unicellular. Amoeba, paramecium, malarial parasite, all these are unicellular. Protozoan animals, all these unicellular. In their cases, cell divides. You can say, of course, there are also two processes. One is amitosis and another is mitosis. Amitosis, in case of unicellular organisms, just I have mentioned, in case of amoeba, in case of paramecium, etc., cell simply divides from one cell to two cells to increase their number of organisms, not the number of their body cells. That is amitosis. Here, the question of meiosis and mitosis is cited. So you will be confused. Actually, three types cell divisions are found, not two types. I have mentioned also two types, not two types, three types: amitosis, mitosis, and meiosis. A means those which are only found in case of unicellular organisms, and always in their cases. Already we have seen that vegetative propagation or mentioned we have there is asexual reproduction, or kind of asexual reproduction. Mitosis is also a kind of asexual reproduction. Cell divides just to increase their number from one cell to two cells, from one organism to two organisms. Mitosis actually is a process to divide cell to increase the number of body cells. And you see, in asexual reproduction it is mentioned only mitosis occurs, means actually sexual reproduction may occur in multicellular organisms also. There are some small multicellular organisms, lower forms. In their cases also, asexual reproduction takes place. So what happened here? A cell become grown up. From the grown up cells, two new cells will be formed by simple division of mitosis. But when the question of sexual reproduction will come, though it is mentioned meiosis occurs during gamete formation, actually the line is incomplete. You see, you must follow both the mitosis and meiosis. Two types of reproduction will be involved. First, mitosis will take place during the formation and development of the gametes, and second, the meiosis will occur. But you must give stress on this particular type of cell division. Meiosis is always associated with the formation of a reproductive unit, with the formation of gametes. There is a basic differences between mitosis and meiosis. but this we shall not discuss in this chapter. Now you see, come. Now, next part will be the reproduction in flowering plant or angiospermic plant, which fully will be discussed in your botany part. And for you, specifically in our zoology chapter, I like to discuss on human reproduction. So human reproduction, why it is important? We are human being, we have distinct male, we have distinct female. Male possesses male reproductive organ system and female possesses female reproductive organ system. Complicated. Development of male gametes, their formation within the principal or primary sex organs, male or female, the processes are not so easy. Always follows a difficult, always follows a complicated pathways. That is why we must carefully study the different organ systems associated with the formation of male and female reproductive units or the male and female reproductive gametes. Units or gamete, reproductive unit or gametes. The reproductive unit produces forms and develops within male reproductive organ, male reproductive unit. The reproductive unit develops, forms and develops within the female reproductive organ, female gametes, female reproductive units. Now, what different organs are associated with male reproductive organ system? You see, human male reproductive system. Carefully we must study. Human male reproductive system comprises these following organs: scrotum, number 1, number 2, testis, number 3, you see, epididymis, number 4, vas differentia, number 5, ejaculatory duct, number 6, urethra, number 7, penis, and number 8, yes. These points are all very important to understand. And number 8, you see, accessory glands. So whenever we shall go to say anything about the human male reproductive system, your attention must be concentrated in these following different organs associated with the male reproductive organ system. A system is made up of some organs which assemble to perform a complex function. Again, organs, aggregation or collection of some tissues to perform a specific function. Again, tissues, you come back, aggregation of some cells, similar type of cells to perform a common function. Now you back to cell. These are the basic unit of the constitution of any part of our body, as a whole the body. Cells are the basic smallest unit. So cell, from cell to tissue, from tissue to organ, from organ to organ systems, you go ahead. The human male reproductive organ system, by human or human male reproductive system, is made up of these following organs. Pung Janan Tantra. পুং জনন তন্ত্ৰ বুলি কোৱাৰ লগে লগে আমাৰ যিকেইটা প্ৰধান অংগৰ কথা আহিব উল্লেখ কৰিব লাগিব। তাৰ ভিতৰত পৰিব 1 নম্বৰ স্ক্ৰটাম, 2 নম্বৰ টেষ্টিছ, 3 নম্বৰত আহি আছে এপিডিডাইমিছ, মই অলপ আগতে মেনশ্যন কৰিলোঁ এপিডিডাইমিছ, ভাছ ডিফাৰেঞ্চিয়া, ইজাকুলেটৰী ডাক্ট, ইউৰেথ্ৰা, পেনিছ, accessory sex glands. Now, though earlier I have mentioned testis is the primary sex organs, or we can say principal sex organs. Baki bilakok ami ki boli kom? Secondary kobo lagibo. Gauno organ. Jiye primary sex organ kamto sahay koribo ba facilitate koribo. So tar bahireo aru ase ki accessory glands, 8 number point 2, very important, accessory sex glands. Without the presence of accessory sex glands, the primary or secondary organs cannot produce reproductive unit, whether it is male or female. In case of female also, female organ systems will be made up of some organs, including ovary, primary sex organs, and some accessory sex glands. Your duty will be to note very carefully the name of the different organs, the name of the different glands, their structure, their function. And I am going to discuss today with you about the basic structure of these primary sex organs, testes. These figures will reveal the different organ system, how they are present. You will find and you will be able to note down. I am here pointing out some organs: cystidia, scrotum, testis, epididymis, ductus afferentia, anywhere else I have mentioned, then ejaculatory duct, ductus deferens, and urethra. Urethra you see like this. Always some confusion remains in our mind. Specific organs we found sometimes as similar in their functions, and this may bring some confusion to our mind. For example, urethra, whether it is a part of, it is a primary sex organ in human. Each testis is a small, pinkish and oval. কিতাপত ধুনীয়াকৈ দিয়া আছে, তোমালোকে পাবাই, মই আন্ডাৰলাইন কৰি থৈ দিছোঁ এই কথাবিলাক. It's a small, pinkish আৰু এটা oval shaped structure, composite structure বুলি কোৱা হৈছে, but it is about only 5 cm in length, 2.5 cm in width, আৰু 3 cm in thickness. Whether the egg is first or the chicken is first. Discussion বৰ কৰোঁতে আমাৰ সেই প্ৰব্লেমেই আহে, কোনটো কথা আগত কম, কোনটো কথা পিছত কম, পিছৰ কথাটো আগত আহে, আগৰ কথাটো পিছলৈ যায়, এনেকৈ নিচি। তথাপিতো উল্লেখ কৰি কৈছোঁ যে যেতিয়াই আমি যোজন কোষৰ কথা ক'লোঁ, ছিংগল চেলৰ পৰা গোটেইখিনি ডেভেলপ হোৱাৰ কথা ক'লোঁ, আমি পিছৰ পিনে পাই আছোঁ আমি গোটেই কথাবিলাক ধুনীয়াকৈ, যে এটা ডেভেলপমেণ্ট প্ৰচেছ। আচলতে টেষ্টিছটো আমাৰ প্ৰথমতে এটা এবডমিনেল অৰ্গেন, ভিতৰত থাকে, লাহে 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 ডেভেলপ হৈ 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 সি অলপ তললৈ নামি আহে, আৰু ইন দি কোৰ্চ অফ ডেভেলপমেণ্ট যেতিয়া তলত আহিব, তেতিয়া সি এই যে মোনাখনৰ ভিতৰত যে এটা যে সুৰক্ষিত হৈ থাকিব, তাকতো কোনোবাই ধৰি ৰাখিব লাগিব। সেই ধৰি ৰখা অংগটোৱে হ'ল স্পাৰ্মেটিক কৰ্ড। এইবিলাকো একো একো এটা বিশেষ ধৰণৰ পেশীৰ দ্বাৰা গঠিত অংশ। These are also muscular organs. These are also associated. So in details, when we shall go to discuss, you will be very astonished, surprised. What a system is there? We are carrying such a system. You see now this scrotum is separate thing. Now come to the testis. Testis itself is covered by some protective layers. There will be 3 protective layers. Many a time students fails to give correct answer. What are these 3 protective layers of the testis? বহুত সময় ষ্টুডেণ্টে পৰীক্ষাত আহিলে এইটো লিখিব নোৱাৰে। শুক্ৰাশয়ৰ এই আৱৰণকেইখনৰ নাম কি? একেবাৰে বাহিৰৰখন, মাজৰখন আৰু একেবাৰে ভিতৰৰখন। Serially you see the testis is surrounded by 3 layers: tunica vaginalis, tunica albuginea, and tunica vasculosa. In this figure, this is the longitudinal section of a human testis. This is a longitudinal section. আৰু এটা testis structure মই দেখুৱাইছোঁ, এইটো হ'ল transverse section. Transverse section of testis of a mammal, human being, very simply. So you compare these 2 figure, longitudinal and transverse section, get the differences. You will find these coverings. You see the outer covering, tunica vaginalis, the middle covering, the tunica albuginea, and the innermost covering is the tunica vasculosa. এই portion simply. Go through the book. Now, inside, which we can say as the testicular lobules, this part is important. The testicular lobules, lobe from the word lobe, the segmentation of lobe will be the lobules, part of the lobules. Generally what happens, testis may be divided into 200 to 300 such testicular lobules. আমি দেখা পাইছোঁ এটা টেষ্টিছ, এটা শুক্ৰা হয়, স্কোটামৰ ভিতৰত আছে। এই প্ৰটেক্টিভ আৱৰণবিলাকৰ দ্বাৰা কভাৰ্ড হৈ আছে, মাজত এটা মাছ অফ চেল, মাছ অৰ্গান এটা হৈ আছে, বাট তাৰ ভিতৰত আৰু কিছুমান সূক্ষ্ম কোঠালি আছে, সেইবিলাকক আমি লবুল কৈছোঁ, আৰু সেইবিলাকে হৈছে টেষ্টিকুলাৰ লবুল। Each testicular lobule contain 1 to 4 highly convoluted seminiferous tubules. একোটা চোৱা, এটা টেষ্টিছ, তাৰ ভিতৰত আছে 200 পৰা 300 লবিউলছ। প্ৰতিটো লবিউলছৰ আকৌ কিমান আছে 1 পৰা 4টা পৰ্যন্ত সৰু সৰু নলিসজ্জ অংশ, টিউবুলাৰ ষ্ট্ৰাকচাৰ্ছ, seminiferous tubules। আচল যি স্পাৰ্ম বা যি মেল ৰিপ্ৰডাক্টিভ ইউনিটৰ কথা আমি কওঁ, সেই ফৰ্মেশ্যন হোৱা মূল অংশখিনিয়ে হ'ল এই seminiferous tubules। ক'ত থাকে? এই টেষ্টিকুলাৰ লবুলবিলাকৰ ভিতৰত থাকে। টেষ্টিকুলাৰ লবুলবিলাক ক'ত থাকে? মূল টেষ্টিছটোৰ ভিতৰত প্ৰটেক্টিভ আৱৰণৰ মাজত থাকে। ভেৰি ক্লিয়াৰ। এতিয়া seminiferous tubules-ৰ ওপৰত আমাক লাগিব স্পেচিফিক নলেজ। Now let us discuss about the seminiferous tubules. এতিয়া তুমি হিচাপ কৰিব পৰা, you can now count. Testis is 1. Actually you see, মোৰ কোৱাতে ভুল হৈ গ'লে তোমাৰ ওপৰত ভুল হ'ব। Very important, but there are 2 testes. No, right and left testis, there are 2 testes, 1 pair of testes. So in one testis, how many testicular unit? In one ejaculatory duct through which the sperms produces within the testis will be ejaculated during the time of copulation. So anyway, another important point you see, urethra. Actually, this part here somewhere else I have mentioned, and this structure again you see this structure here also. Same structure you will get as you have found in this lobular structure, but more clearly it is given in transverse sections. The presence of Sertoli cell you can see here, the presence of seminiferous tubules here you see, and interstitial cell you can see, and most important point I am mentioning, development of these spermatids and spermatogenia. Germinal epithelium, some cells will be here, go on mitotic divisions, produces some another cells which will be known as spermatocytes. They develop to another form known as spermatids, and ultimately spermatids will be developed to spermatozoa or mature sperm. This mature sperm will be stored within the seminiferous tubules and will come out. Later they will come out, and Sertoli cells will provide them support to store them. Gradually they will come out during the process of copulation or ejaculation through ejaculatory duct. And now I am going to tell you something about the urethra. It is about 1 to 20 centimeter long, much longer in the male than in the female. That means urethra is present in both the reproductive system, male and female. But in male it is more longer than in female. Why it is urethra? It is the urinary duct leading from the bladder. Actually here origin to show, this is the urinary bladder. From the urinary bladder, this structure, urinary tract, you can say this is ureter. Two ureter will come up, and vas differentia from the testis. This testis. From this vas differentia will come out, and about 2 vas differentia will come. In some areas they will meet the common. Some areas they will meet this common urinary tract. So here they will meet the common urinary tract, and these portions will be known as the urethra. Before ejaculatory duct you can see, it is the urinary duct leading from the bladder from the point of joined by the ejaculatory duct, this point. So from when the urinary duct will come or ureter will come up from the urinary bladder, this also will come to a common tube. So urethra simply you can mean is a common duct of ureter and the ejaculatory duct. This is, you can mention, is the urethra. This is you can mention. And this will pass through the male reproductive organ penis. And this structure also important. 3 structures here you have to mention. See, 3 now 4. This is one structure as a whole male reproductive organ system. This is about the longitudinal section of the testis. This is the transverse section of the testis, and this is a human male reproductive system in front view. This is in front view, and last is the penis. So very simply, let us see the accessory sex glands. 3 accessory sex glands are always present in male reproductive system, associated male reproductive system. Number 1, seminal vesicle. Number 2, prostate glands, and number 3, bulbourethral glands, or Kupfer's gland. Both have all have a specific structure and their specific functions. So today time is over, and later very simply we shall see the basic structure of all these three glands and their functions, basic functions. And follow the book. Let's meet again together, and thank you all for accompanying me. Thank you.